kind of, you know what, I talked to Katie Trujillo and said that, you know, there's possible, and she said, Veronica Gutierrez is
All right, well, I guess we'll get started. Talking about the What about now? Can you hear me now? Although I don't see any chat messages over here. For some reason, the chat's not coming up for me. So I don't know how you can show me that you can hear me or not. But we'll go ahead and get started talking about the app Bloomz, which is an app I use to communicate within my classroom and with my parents. It's very similar to some of the other apps that are out there. So before we get too into it, let me go over just who I am real quick. So my name is Janelle Bain, and I teach second grade math and science at Sewell Elementary. This will be my 11th year of teaching and my second year as an I3 team member. So also I'm a mom of 3 kids. So I've got a 7-year-old and 4-year-old twins, and I'm a dog lover. And I love attending live theater productions. So that's just a little about me. My cohort today is Tiffany Richardson, and she teaches ESL at Etheridge. And I do believe it's her 10th year of teaching. So she's going to be moderating the chat, although I can't see the chat for some reason. I'm not sure why it's not coming up for me. So hopefully she's able to answer any questions you have, because for some reason I'm not seeing it. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong over on my end. And then she has a link for you at the very end of this webinar that will link you to get your CPE credits there in Oracle at the very end. So I'm sure your first question really is just, what is Bloomz? So just copied and pasted from the FAQ there on Bloomz. It's a free tool designed to help teachers share information and photos through real-time communication and coordination. It's made primarily for the K-8 environment, and Bloomz is an excellent tool for helping create connections between parents and teachers. The way I explain it to people is it's basically a combination of like Class Dojo, Remind 101, and a class blog, all wrapped up into one. So it's really great because I can communicate with parents. I can either communicate as a group, I can send a message to an entire group, or I can send a message just to one parent. I also can post class updates like photos and other things that we've been doing in class. There's also now a behavior tracking tool. It's very similar to Class Dojo, but since it's called Bloomz, they grow a flower so the children can bloom their flower after they earn a certain number of points. But there's also a lot more components. You can use it to schedule parent conferences. You can use it to request for volunteers. You can send an alert to it, which will push through on their phone and send up an alert if there was something urgent you needed to tell the parents. There's lots of features, and I've also found over the past year that I've been using it, they're constantly adding features and updates. It also is very important to note that it was designed with privacy in mind. So only parents that you have approved can have access to this. So you don't have to worry about the photos and the work that you're sharing getting shared outside on the World Wide Web. It stays within Bloomz. It's very private and is only shared with those adults that you have given express permission to see. So let me kind of walk you through a little bit of what it looks like and how it all works, the very basics of it. Hold on, let me get my screen up for you. Okay. So let me see here. Hold on, give me just a second. Might be able to tell I'm a little new at this whole webinar thing. All right. So let me stop that. And there we go. Okay. So Bloomz, you can use it in one of two ways. It does have the app that is free to download, or you can use it just directly from your desktop as well, either or. If the parent chooses not to download the app, they can still access it through the website on their desktop. The only difference would be they wouldn't get any of those push notifications if you sent one of those urgent alerts. But otherwise, they can still access everything without downloading the app. And you can too if you have run out of room or you just don't want the app. You can just all go through the desktop. It all works pretty much the same. So once you download Bloomz, the first thing you'll obviously need to do is set up your account and then enter all of your students, which is pretty easy and self-explanatory to do. It's kind of hard for me to walk you through it since I've already got mine all set up. There is a video when you first join that can kind of walk you through those steps, but it's pretty simple. You basically just enter your students' names. And then there are two ways you can invite parents to join. You can invite them to join with the access code. So if you look at the top, you'll see the little gray bar near the top that says access codes. If you click on that, and then you can invite students. I don't, just because I teach second grade, so I don't use it for my younger students. That might be something that is beneficial if you have an older class, if you're one of the upper grades. So I just create an access code for my parents, and then it gives you the code. And then I always select that I want to manually approve all of my requests, just in case. It's just that extra step of security to make sure that no one somehow manages to figure out that access code. And then you click for parent instructions, and it will give you the page that walks your parents through exactly how to create their Bloomz account. And it also includes your access code on that instruction page as well. So what I do is I have that printed out and I pass it out to parents during porch party. And then I also pass it out again at the end of the first week of school to those that still haven't joined. And then usually about second week, those that still haven't joined, I will then go into Bloomz. And from there is on the toolbar on the very left-hand side, it says invite. And then I click on that, and then I can invite via email. So I can then add in my parents' emails to it, and I just type my emails manually for all the parents that I want to add. And I have found inviting through email, it got pretty much everyone that hadn't joined yet clicked and joined. I think it's pretty easy when they send the email. I think they just click the link and it joins them to it. So getting parents to join Bloomz is very simple as well. And again, everything on Bloomz has a little video to walk you through at the beginning. So even like right here for the invite, at the very top, it says watch an overview video on how to invite the parents. And so a lot of the different components that they have will give you a video to walk you through it. So what I use Bloomz a lot for is just sharing what's going on in our classroom. I try to post an update about once a week, if not more. So I have an update from last week that I saved knowing I was going to need to walk us through it today. And so, I mean, you can come in. One of my parents told me it reminds her of Facebook for school because they can comment on the post that I make, or they can even just like the post. So you can scroll down and you see, one like, one comment, how many people have viewed. And then same here, I've got 1 like and 3 comments. So I've kind of saw it from the parents' point of view and they said, oh, it's like Facebook for school, which I think is exactly right. So if I wanted to post a new update at the very top, I've got, there we go. I've got my create link. So when I click on that, it lists all of the different options of things that I can create a link for. So I would just click on post. And so I could enter in whatever it is. whatever title I'm wanting for that post. So like we were working on place value. So I took some pictures of the kids working in place value. And then I always just kind of share a little tidbit of what the photos are that I'm sharing. So like we were on a base 10 scavenger hunt. So we went on a base 10 scavenger hunt. And the kids had a blast. So after I do that, then I can add my photos from my camera roll. And so then you can, it's, again, if you're familiar with Facebook, it is very similar to how it all goes. So then I can just click on, you know, however many photos I need, click done, and then I click post. And then it sends through to the parents, whether it's through an email or if they get their push notification saying I created an update in Bloomz. And sometimes, especially when I find when I'm doing it here at school, it takes a little bit longer for things to post. I think it just runs a little bit slower. And then it says successfully posted. And so now I can go and see, and now it will alert the parents who can come see and hopefully comment and see what's going on at school that day. So my parents, I've had a lot of comments from parents saying they really enjoy being able to see these updates because I think anyone that is a parent of a school-age child, when they come home and you say, so what'd you do at school today? And they're like, oh, nothing. Well, what's your favorite part? Oh, recess or lunch. So here now you can really keep your parents in the loop. And I think that's a big thing for me is making sure my parents know what's going on at school. A new feature that they have that they did not have last year, but they have this year, which I really love, is they have now added in the behavior tracking. So if you use Class Dojo, this should be very similar to that for you and very familiar for you. And anything you do within Bloomz all comes from this create button at the very top. So anything you want. So if I wanted to share like a student's assignment, I could do that. The alert one is the one that pushes immediately through to your parent's phone. So awards is the one that's the behavior tracking. And I think it's really cute because they've got the flowers that grow. And so you'll go in and enter your students' names. And then as you're working during the day, you just, you want to award a student for doing something. So you'd click on that student. And it comes pretty preset with some pretty good behavior goals for both, the positive and the negative. And so you would just click what it is, or if you needs work, you would click that. If you want to create new, there is the button to create new ones. And then you award their points. You can change how many points they get. So, that was the wrong one, excuse me. There we go. So I can go into the options, which is, hold on, let me go back. If you look at the very top of where the flower pots are going, you see the 4 little things, the undo, select multiple, full screen, and options. So if you click on options, then edit award types. So then you can go in, if I wanted to change how many points they get for having a clean work area, I can go in and change, oops, I accidentally deleted it. I can change those number of points. I can change the name of it. I can even change the little icon that goes with it. And then save. So apparently I need to go back in and add a clean work area. So I'll do that now. So I can create new. And I would say clean area. And then assign it however many points that I want. And save it. So now I've got the new goal for them. If it would save for me. Okay. So then you also have the option under options for settings. And so that you can set how many points they take to get to a flower. I have it set to 25, and then every 25 points, I let them go and choose out of my treasure box. So, and once they hit 25, then they, instead of having the little leaves in the stem growing up, they have their flower that's growing. There also does create a sound when they get pluses and minuses. You can change that so that it doesn't make the sound if you don't want that going on. Oops. And then there is the class goal that they say was supposed to be in August. It hasn't come up yet, but that's from what I read on their latest blog post, is that you'll be able to set a goal for your class to try and meet how many points total your class earns. And then same for the reports. It's supposed to be coming where they get it, where you can then print out the reports of how their behavior was for that week or that set time frame, and you can send it home for the parents. There we go. So then a couple of the other features on Bloomz is the calendar. So I don't have anything on the calendar for this week, but like back during when we had Meet the Teacher Night, I had that on the calendar. During if we did a field trip, I would put that on the calendar. We have an awards assembly that will be coming up, and I would put that on the calendar. And so then it alerts the parents, and the parents can even join and say that they're attending if they want to. So, and then supposedly, I don't have it from the parent end, I only get this from the teacher end, but one of my parents says it does, if they accept that calendar event, it does send them a reminder as it's coming closer so that they remember and attend. There is also a way to create, there it is, parent-teacher conferences. So as those are coming up, you can, instead of having to send the paper notes home and then sending them back and then looking at your calendar and trying to schedule everyone in and not accidentally, double book a time slot, they can do it all through Bloomz. So last year, I was not as successful at getting parents signed up on Bloomz. So I was only able to use a couple of parents doing it through parent conferences, and then the rest I had to do the paper request. This year I've got almost all of my parents on here, so I'm hoping to be able to schedule all of my conferences using the Bloomz app. And so you just set your dates, what dates you want, and what time slots you have. And then you can keep the signups private. This will be really good for that day where it's just that morning time slots and we don't have class that day, because then you can just get it where you set up the number of minutes between each, and it should all be done all on here. I think it's going to be fantastic. Same for, you can also request volunteers. I used this several times last year, helping like with cutting things or pulling pages out of our math book. When we needed volunteers, when we were having parents come up and read with the kids for Dr. Seuss Week, I was able to schedule them all through Bloomz. And same thing, you just put in what it is and where they would be, and then the start and end time. And then you send your invite to any of the parents within your group. So if you know of you only want to come from certain parents because you need them to have the, what's the word I'm looking for? The background check. So if you know they don't have a background check, then you can unselect them and make sure it only gets sent to those that have a background check. Whereas like last year I had some that were cutting out, so it didn't matter because they were taking it home, so I sent it to all of them. And then if a parent can do it, then they will accept it, and you'll get the notification of what parent has accepted, and so that you can get whatever volunteer needs taken care of. So the volunteer, I used that one a lot last year. It was very helpful in getting all of my stuff taken care of. The other thing I like about Bloomz is it's really easy to use, and it's very user friendly. I mean, because everything basically is done through that create button there at the top. And when you first start, it does have lots of videos for you. It also has a demo class on the side. So if you want to play around with it without creating a class and having to worry about, oh, I accidentally sent an alert or I accidentally sent a request and I didn't mean to, practice with that demo class first. They didn't have that demo class last year, so I just created my own practice class. I just added a class and created my own practice class, and then practiced around with it before actually inviting any parents. But I'm not really sure anything else I can think of to go over. Oh, and that's another one. All of the pictures you post also get posted into the media section. So if you ever wanted to go back for a picture that you've posted in the past, they're all there in that media section as well. I think that just about covers it. So hopefully you found something useful out of this, and at least give it a try. My theory is always you can try it. If you don't like it, you stop using it. But I find it's just a really great tool. I don't think I could live without Bloomz at this point. So that's about all I have for you. I would like to say if you have any questions, ask them, but I'm still not seeing anything in the chat. So hopefully Tiffany is seeing those questions and can kind of help answer those for you. And hopefully she can get you up your CPE link so you can get credit for attending. But otherwise, I think I am finished. So I appreciate you joining us. We have our next one coming up in a couple of months on, I think we're doing Educreations, and Tiffany's in charge of that one, and I'll be moderating her chat. So we'd love for you to go into Sched and find our Edmodo one, not our Edmodo, our Educreation one, and look at all of the other ones from the I3s. There's lots of great webinars coming up that you should totally take advantage of. So thanks for coming to ours today. I appreciate it.